sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we discuss about our PPT presentation in weather prediction technology. The subject name is environmental science and the subject code is MC471. And this PPT is presented by my classmates Somito Mukherjee, Pika Biswas, and me myself, Soipat Dev. And here are the table of content. Number one, introduction. Then large-scale weather forecasting using satellite. Then type of weather satellite, observation, instrumental, sensor, and some well-known weather satellite. Advantage, disadvantage, conclusions, reference, and acknowledgement. Here are the introduction. At first, we need to know what is weather and why we need to predict the weather. In our daily life, we need to know the accurate weather forecast. Like we have some activities, some event, some work. So we need to know the accurate weather forecast. And many factors like sunshine, rainfall, humidity are considered as a prediction of weather. And here it is, weather forecasting, the prediction of the weather through application of principle of physics, supplemented by variety statistical and empirical techniques, and in addition to prediction of atmospheric phenomena method. Weather forecasting includes the prediction of changes on Earth's surface caused by atmospheric conditions, and examples like snow and ice cover, storms and floods. And then, why we need accurate weather forecast? Like many businesses and many people, they need to know the accurate weather forecast. Like farmers need to know the best time for plant the crop. And also, if we don't know about accurate weather forecast, it can also damage our personal property. And like it can also damage our personal property. And accordingly, we have to know that accurate weather forecast because of I said like we need some activities, we have some war, we have some event. So that's why we need some accurate weather forecast. That these are the examples. And large scale weather forecasting using satellites. What is weather satellite? Weather satellite, it is an artificial satellite that revolves around the Earth and it works like a weather pattern or graph. And in other words, a weather satellite is a type of satellite that is primarily used to monitor the weather and climate of the Earth. Type of weather satellites, and at first we have geostationary satellite. A geostationary, it is an orbit. It is referred to as a geosynchronous equatorial orbit. And it plays approximately 35,800 kilometers and 22,300 miles. And it revolves around the Earth like Earth rotates west to east. And it takes time 24 hours to rotate its axis. And also the geostationary comes from the fact that such as a satellite appears nearly stationary in the sky as seen by a ground-based observer. And the advantages of geostationary satellite, main advantage is it is very related to Earth and it is present above the Earth's surface, so it is suitable for telecommunication purpose. And it is always in the same position and same location and get higher temporal resolution data. Tracking of satellite by its Earth station is simple, and I said that satellite always in the same position. And then disadvantages of geostationary satellite. Its main disadvantage is it is very costly to install. So, and again, a disadvantage of geostationary satellite is the incomplete geographical coverage, since ground-based stations at higher than roughly 60 degree latitude have difficulty reliable receiving station at low elevation. And the next part, polar orbital satellite, is described by friend Somito Mukherjee. Thank you.
Thank you, Shoipat. Again, a very warm welcome to everyone of you. Okay, so what is polar orbital satellite? Unlike geostationary satellite, it is not stationary. Okay, it revolves in the Earth in north and south orbit, passing over the poles as the Earth spins about its north and south axis. So basically, it revolves around the Earth or around the polar axis. The polar satellite is positioned nearly 500 to 800 kilometers above the Earth, travels pole to pole in 102 minutes. So you can see it is very near to the ground or the Earth's surface. The polar orbit remains fixed in space as the Earth rotates inside the orbit. So coming up to the advantages, most of the Earth's surface crosses satellite in a polar orbit, and next, the polar satellite cycles at a much lower altitude than geostationary satellite at about 850 kilometers. Sorry for the inconvenience. Those satellites circles at a much lower altitude than geostationary satellite at about 850 kilometers. This means the polar satellite can photograph better than geostationary satellites. Okay. And since the orbit is lower than geostationary satellite, the data resolution is always higher than geostationary satellite. So, disadvantages. It can't actually provide the continuous viewing from one location and it revolves around the Earth. So next is, how do weather satellite actually works? The weather satellite carries the instruments called radiometers. It is not a camera. That it is actually scans the Earth to form an image. This instrument usually has some source of telescopes or antenna, a scanning mechanism and one or more detector that detects either visible, infrared, microwave radiation for the purpose of monitoring weather systems around the world. Second one, the measurement these instruments makes are in the form of electrical voltage, which is next converted to digital version. Then it sends to the ground stations, which actually accepts those digitized information. Then it is sent to those other parts where the weather forecast has been done. Okay. And also it makes available in the internet. Because of the weather changes quickly, the time from satellite measurement to image availability can be less than in a minute. Okay. So the third point, designed to operate for 3 to 4 years. But in some cases, some may last longer than that. Okay. Now some observation instrument sensors in weather satellites. And the first is visible infrared imaging radiometer suite, which is known as VIIRS. So what is VIIRS? It is actually a scanning radiometer which collects the visible infrared light. It also does radiometric measurements of land, atmosphere, cryospheres and ocean. Okay. Data that VIIRS collects is used to analyze cloud movement, water movement, the water amount and the temperatures and the visible phenomena. Data also used to better understand the climate changes also. Okay. The next is moderate resolution imaging spectroradiometer, which is known as MODIS or MODIS. The moderate resolution imaging spectroradiometer MODIS is a payload imaging sensor that was launched into Earth in the orbit in the year of 1999 by Terra satellite and Aqua satellite. Okay. Actually, those two satellites takes 1 to 2 days for revolve one time around the Earth. They are designed to provide the measurement in large-scale global dynamics, including the change in Earth cloud cover, radiation budget, and other processes occurring in the ocean, land, or in the lower atmosphere. So, coming up to next point, it is advanced very high resolution radiometer. Okay, AVHRR. AVHRR is a sensor used in polar orbiting satellite. It measures the reflectance of the Earth usually in 5 or 6 different spectral bands. So now what is spectral bands? Do you know anything about spectral bands?
No.
How does it work? So have you seen any path of any hurricane or any tornado in internet?
Yes.
You have checked it during Amphan how it is coming. So you may have seen that the heavily damaged area is marked as in the red marker, and the mildly harmed area is marked in yellow bands. Then the safe side is marked with the green band, and somewhere there may be some kind of higher frequencies of air or something like that. It will be marked as a blue line. So this is actually the spectral bands. Okay. That's the satellite uses to mark those things. Okay. The key purpose of AVHRR instrument is to monitor the clouds and the thermal emissions of the Earth, which basically means cooling of the surface. Instrument surveys land surface and land water. So what's next is the spinning enhanced visible infrared imager or SEVID. This is the most advanced instrument used in a satellite. Data from SEVID used to track several different measurements in the atmosphere and the environment. SEVID is capable of measuring the temperature on the surface and the atmosphere also. So the thing is, now we have seen that it can actually measure the ground temperatures, the phenomena happening in the ground. But in SEVID, it actually can measure the atmospheric changes. Now, how can we say that? It can actually sense the atmospheric water, vapor contents, cloud formations, storms, hurricanes, heavy rains and fog. SEVID is the main instrument used in MSG satellite, which is cooperation between MUSAT and ESA. So what is EUMETSAT and ESA? It is a European Space Research Organization. So the next and the final instrument we use in a satellite is infrared atmospheric sounding interferometer, or IS. Its purpose is to provide atmospheric emission spectra with deriving the temperature and humidity profiles with high vertical resolution and accuracy. It uses the Michelson interferometer technology with spectral coverage between 3.6 to 15.5 micrometers. ISI can also measure the cloud top temperature, pressure and the fractional cloud cover. So we can see that it actually doesn't represent any monitoring, it does not do any monitoring. It just actually increases the accuracy and the resolution of other instruments, which is basically needed. So now some well-known weather satellite, and the rest part of this presentation will be described by my fellow batchmate, Vika Vishnu. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Now we will be studying about some well-known weather satellites. So firstly, we have geostationary operational environmental satellite. So the term stationary itself means something which is in the fixed state or something which is not moving. The geostationary operational environmental satellite is a satellite which stays in the fixed state with respect to the moving Earth. The GEOS-80 is the third of the GEOS-R series and is the current generation of weather satellite operated by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The current and the next satellites of the series are GEOS-16, GEOS-17, GEOS-18 and GEOS. This will extend the availability of satellite until 2037. The satellite is built by Lockheed Martin in Littleton, Colorado. It is based on A2100A satellite bus and will have an expected useful life of 15 years. Now we have the benefits and applications of GEOS-80. So as it is the current version of satellite, so it is better and improved version of all the other satellites. So it does better detection of heavy rainfall and flash flood risk, better fire detection and intensity estimation, better monitoring of smoke and dust, earlier warning of lightning, ground strike hazards, improved air quality warnings and alerts, improved detection of low clouds or fog, improved transportation safety and aviation route planning, improved hurricane track and intensity forecast, improved warning of communication and navigation disruptions and power blackouts, increased thunderstorm and tornado warning lead time. Next we have Kalpana 1. So the Kalpana 1 was first termed as METSAT-1. It was then renamed to Kalpana 1 by our respected Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee as a memory of Kalpana Chawla, who was the first woman of India who go to space. But unfortunately, her second journey was her final journey. She was one of the 7 crew members who died inside the spacecraft while the Earth was re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. Kalpana 1 was the first dedicated meteorological satellite launched by Indian Space Research Organization using Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle on 12th September 2002. The satellite is 3-axis stabilized and is powered by solar panels getting up to 550 watts of power. Next we have the benefits and application of Kalpana 1. Firstly, to establish a small satellite 1 to 1000 bus system which can meet the exclusive service requirements of a meteorological payload of Earth imaginaries. Second, collection of weather data from low-cost unattended data collection platform to configure METSAT spacecraft within lift of mass constraint to upgrade existing polar satellite launch vehicle for deployment geosynchronous transfer orbit GOT mission. Now we have the advantages and disadvantages of weather prediction technology. Firstly, the advantages. So it only takes 1 hour to predict a 6-day forecast. Second, it can predict the path of hurricane, thunderstorm, icebergs, etc. Third, and the most important, it can help the farmers. So the farmers know the perfect time to plant and harvest crops. It also helps the aircrafts and the navies which rely completely on weather forecast. Now the disadvantages. 1:1 160 million equations need to be solved to make one forecast which was equal to bias of a supercomputer. So weather forecasting is itself very costly, and the computer need to do tons of calculation in order to get one single output. That is one forecast. Number two, long range forecast cannot be 100% accurate in prediction. So the long range forecast cannot be 100% accurate, and most of the times the weather forecasters get blamed if the weather forecast is not right. Next. Now we have the conclusion. Satellites with advanced sensors can forecast weather with more efficiency nowadays. Satellites are predicting weather before time, so government have time to plan and control if there is any disasters like tornado, heavy rainfall, etc. So the casualties are now under control. Second, using internet, people can also see weather images in the phone and mobile computer, so we can plan our journey safely. We hope that satellite technology will improve in near future. References. So these are our references.
Skip.
Thank you everyone for listening.